You know, there's a strange paradox at the heart of responsibility that most people don't talk about. We praise it, we reward it, we lean on it, and yet the more dependable someone becomes, the more invisible their inner life often grows. If we're honest with ourselves, the people who carry the most are rarely the ones asked how heavy it feels. They become the steady ones, the reliable ones, the ones who don't fall apart. And over time, that expectation hardens into a quiet sentence. You don't get to be tired. In the years after around 2008, as the ground shifted beneath families, workplaces, and entire economies, responsibility stopped being a role and became an identity. It followed people home through glowing screens, crept into weekends, whispered through late night emails and early morning alarms. In the mid-2020s, it has become almost inseparable from self-worth. To be responsible is to be valuable. To rest is to risk falling behind. And somewhere in that equation, something deeply human has been misplaced. Most people overlook the emotional cost of always being the one who shows up, the one who remembers, the one who absorbs chaos so others can function. On the surface, it looks like strength, but beneath it lives a quieter truth. Unrelieved responsibility does not just exhaust the body, it slowly erodes the self. Joy thins, curiosity fades, laughter becomes scheduled, if it comes at all. And the heart, tasked with constant vigilance, forgets how to ask for care in return. What makes this moment morally significant is not just the rise in burnout or the length of therapy waiting lists. It's what this pattern reveals about how we understand dignity in a democracy. A society that survives on the unpaid emotional labor of its most responsible citizens is a society quietly spending down its moral savings. When duty is endlessly demanded and rarely shared, connection frays. Leadership isolates, families strain, and people who once carried hope begin carrying only obligation. There's a particular loneliness that comes from being needed more than you are known, from being depended on but not protected, from realizing that the very trait others admire in you, your reliability, has become the reason no one notices your fatigue. You don't complain because you trained yourself not to. You don't stop because everything feels like it would fall apart. And so you keep saying yes, even as something inside you whispers that this pace is unsustainable. Responsibility, when unbalanced, teaches the soul to disappear behind function. It convinces good people that their worth is measured by endurance alone, that asking for help is weakness, that boundaries are betrayals. And yet, every sleepless night, every clenched jaw, every quiet resentment tells a different story, one the culture rarely pauses long enough to hear. In an age of constant alerts and infinite demands, the responsible have become the shock absorbers of modern life. They absorb pressure so systems can keep moving. They make dysfunction look manageable, but shock absorbers wear down. And when they fail, the damage spreads outward into relationships, into communities, into the next generation, watching and learning what adulthood is supposed to look like. So the question isn't whether responsibility matters. It does. The question is whether we are brave enough to admit that responsibility without rest is not virtue, it's slow harm. Whether we can build a culture and a country where strength includes knowing when to set something down, where duty is shared, not silently assigned, where the people who carry the most are finally allowed to breathe. And if we don't learn to honor the emotional cost of always being responsible, not with applause, but with relief, what kind of future are we quietly asking our strongest people to survive? If any part of this resonates with you, pause for a moment and sit with it. Let it stir a thought, a memory, a recognition. And if you're willing, share that reflection in the comments, because naming the weight is often the first step toward lightening it.